radical liberal ever nominated for a statewide office by the South Carolina Democratic Party.
South Carolina is a tough state for Democrats to win, but they believe the race will become more competitive as President Trump's approval rating continues to fall amid the higher cost of living. The death toll more than doubles in Nepal after massive flash floods. Local media say 55 bodies have been recovered and hundreds remain missing.
Officials in Nepal say nearly 400 tourists right now are missing. Many are from countries like India, the UK, and the United States. Now, security videos from the scene show a massive wall of water. People tried to take cover. The force was so strong, it swept away cars and tore apart buildings. Now, the exact cause of this is unclear, but there are suspicions an earthquake reportedly struck the region, triggering an avalanche of ice and rock that then led to those massive flash floods in Nepal. Crews are on scene as they try to find any survivors, but conditions could not be more treacherous. Rivers are overflowing and moving much faster than normal.
Fox's Jeff Paul. Nepal has asked for India and China to help with the rescue effort. And Texas's so-called drag show ban is struck down by the courts again. A federal judge says the law violates the First Amendment by protecting speech, and that blocks the enforcement of the law, which bans sexually oriented performances in public or around minors. I'm Carmen Roberts. This is Fox News.
Rutherford weather.
Slight chance for storms today. Otherwise, sunshine mixed with clouds at times. High temperatures reach up to 93. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Right now, it's 72 degrees.
While retinitis pigmentosa takes Mark's vision, his family gives him hope, whether at the family business or at home with his wife and sons. He knows he's not fighting alone. For 50 years, the Foundation Fighting Blindness has funded research into treatments and cures for blinding retinal diseases, providing hope to people with vision loss. And for Mark, winning the fight means being there for his family. The Foundation Fighting Blindness. Together, we're winning. Help us end blinding diseases at fightingblindness.org.
When it comes to your child's health,
you want care that's close, convenient,
and centered around the needs of your family.
At MMC Pediatrics, we're more than just doctors.
We're partners in your parenting journey.
Here for every growth spurt,
for every boo-boo,
every fever, and every flu.
Our team approach means that your child always sees someone that knows them.
We are MMC Pediatrics.
We are right beside you
every step of the way.
We're the Good Neighbor Network. FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro. FM 100.5 Smyrna. Audio and video streaming at WGNSradio.com. This is the Roundtable. Tennessee Association of Broadcasters Award winner for Best Local Talk Show. A look at the news, views, politics, sports, and people shaping Rutherford County.
Welcome into the Roundtable on this Wednesday. Chip Walters with you from Exit Realty, Bob Lamb & Associates and the Blue Raider Network. Glad to be here with you on this Wednesday, and Brian tells me we may get a little rain, maybe sooner than later. There's some up in northwest Tennessee. Is it moving our way?
It'll eventually get here, maybe.
Okay.
That's a good weather forecast.
There's your good weather forecast, exactly.
Yeah, it looks to maybe by this evening we have a few showers. That may fizzle out back out to the northwest by the time it gets here. But
all right,
we shall see. It's very dry.
Well, which is crazy because we had the wettest July we've ever had, I think, and now things have dried back out. It's either all or nothing.
Well, that's Mother Nature.
That's true, but still, yards around here are the greenest I've seen them in August in years. Mm-hmm. So, all right, today we're going to turn the tables and turn the round table around and kind of a man bites dog situation here. We're going to interview Bart Walker, the longtime owner of this radio station who have kind of eased himself into retirement over the last few years. Bart, glad you could get up and
it's fun to be here
and found the way down here.
I did. And it looks great. Things are phenomenal. Everybody's doing super.
Yeah, and the place it looks, as you mentioned, everything looks neat and nice up here. Brian always
looks better than it used to.
Yeah. We're not going to ask why, but Anyway, how are you doing?
Doing great.
You and Leanne are loving life. You're traveling. You're doing all kinds of stuff.
Just enjoying being around each other and enjoying talking with friends, meeting new friends.
Yeah. Well, today I thought, when I talked to you, you've spent years, over 40 years here and asking the questions. And I thought, well, why not turn it around a little bit? And you would ask the questions and get people's stories about themselves. And, a lot of times, people would hear you and not know what your story was. So I thought, well, today's a great opportunity to do that. And so kind of give, when you grew up, well, first of all, before we get into anything, we were talking before we went on, obviously the stunning news yesterday of Dolly Parton's passing, and having been in the Nashville, Murfreesboro area your entire life, to think about, when I started seeing the coverage of her passing yesterday, it reminded me of the news coverage in 1977 when Elvis died. It was very similar, and I think her, although in a different way, because her philanthropy is one of the real headlines of all this. But the coverage of her passing and the celebration of the life she led, very well deserved, and it's been incredible the last almost 24 hours now.
She was such a giant in the community, in the nation.
Yeah.
Really. I mean, because her library,
the Imagination Library,
that has helped so many people across the whole nation, youngsters being introduced to books and knowledge that they would never have gotten.
Yeah.
But it doesn't stop there. I mean, with her gifts to Sevier County, her lifetime of gifts there, Nashville, Middle Tennessee, all of the state of Tennessee, she was a true Tennessean.
Now, one of the stories obviously was in 2016 when they had the fires in Sevier County, that and each one of those families that lost their homes, she gave them $1,000 a month for 6 months to kind of get back on their feet. And then when it was all said and done, all of those families got an extra $5,000 payment or gift of that. And then she did the same thing when the remnants of Hurricane Helene went through East Tennessee and Western North Carolina and caused so much damage. But the Imagination Library, I think the number I saw yesterday was that over 300 million books have been gifted to young people between birth and age 5, and again have been given the gift of books and to those have learned how to read. And it was interesting, I saw several things on social media yesterday from families who actually received their book in the mail.
Can you imagine the difference that makes in those young lives?
Yeah.
The future that they have.
Yeah.
Brought on by what she introduced them to.
Right. And the reason she did that was because her father, who she said the smartest man she ever knew, but could not read or write. And so in his honor, she started the Imagination Library. Well, I mean, we all have a smile with the tears that go with her passing. But anyway, obviously there'll be more coverage of that over the next several days.
And should be.
Yes, absolutely. Now, the Bart Walker story.
Nothing like that.
Talk about, well, I mean, and who does have one that's like that? You are a product of Nashville and Middle Tennessee, and talk about where you grew up and what you were piddling around with as a kid.
Well, I got interested in radio in a different way. It was, I guess I was in the 3rd grade.
And where'd you go to school?
I went in the 3rd grade. I was at H.G. Hill.
Okay.
And
not the grocery store.
No. That's right. And at Christmas, Santa brought a tape recorder, just a regular tape recorder, nothing special. And I started playing with it, but instead of doing it like other people would, I decided to make radio shows. And so that got me going, and I got hooked and just kept on. And by the time I was in 8th grade, I built a little radio station in the house that went, around the neighborhood, and just got hooked and couldn't get out of it. I tell people now it's a disease.
Yeah.
But I can also tell people I don't think I've ever worked a day in my life because I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Yeah. Well, obviously, you had to start listening somewhere at some point. How old were you? What are your first memories of listening to the radio?
I remember I grew up in Nashville, so I listened to Nashville radio, WKDA, always one that I listened to. In fact, I used to go up there on Friday and Saturday nights, whichever, and they would let me watch them. And one guy, Ron Terrell, whose real name is Terrell Matheny, gave me a chance, let me get his news ready, rip it off the teletype. I even got to go out and cover a story downtown one time, and that was a thrill. And we've stayed connected. I sent Ron a birthday greeting the other day. He had a birthday, and he's in Arkansas now, but still just as great as he's been to WGNS after we bought it.
Right.
Came by to see how we were doing, and he was, I can look back on those days. He would go off the air at midnight, and he'd take me home.
Oh, wow.
Because, here was a kid in the 8th grade at that time.
Right.
I didn't drive, and my parents didn't want to come out and get me at midnight.
Yeah,
they would have.
Who were the first disc jockeys or so that you remember listening to?
Oh, Noel Ball.
Yeah.
Cigar and all.
Yeah.
He was a great one. Hugh Jarrett, Hugh Baby.
Yeah.
And so many others like that. WMAK had a lot of great disc jockeys. I can't remember all of their names.
What was there? They had they called themselves
Mighty Mac.
Yeah, they had a name for themselves. WMAK.
They were. I remember them first as Mighty Mac.
Okay.
And they did Scotch Plaid Radio or something like that.
Okay.
But that was a neat station. Before that, they were sort of contemporary in the daytime, and at night they played really slow music. Johnny Mathis, that crew, and that was makeout radio.
Okay.
And they made it their format. I mean, that's what they call themselves, basically.
Yeah, and it is like WSM obviously had was such a powerhouse
yeah.
growing up, and WLAC. Were you a fan of John R. and
Hugh Jarrett was on WLAC
and the Hossman and
yeah, I got to know them.
Yeah,
because I in '65 worked at WLAC, and I was on in the mornings on WLAC FM, which was in the LNC Tower. I was the first one on the air in the LNC Tower, which was an experience in itself. Here was this beautiful facility that used to be the prayer room, the observation deck, everything. They slowly turned it into a radio studio, and the morning that I signed on, people kept coming in, where's the prayer room? Where's the observation deck? And I got to tell them, I'm sorry, the prayer room is where our transmitter is now, and this is the observation deck where the studio is. And it was history.
And so you were the first one
I did, because I did the sign-on.
Okay.
They would go off at midnight and come back on at 6.
And where were their studios prior to that?
Prior to that, they were across the street in the Third National Bank building,
okay.
5th floor.
But then the LNC Tower was built. Was it brand new at the time?
No, it wasn't brand new. It
Okay.
had been there for a long time.
Okay.
But they had put it up there. And so it was phenomenal. You talk about being paid to watch the sun come up over Nashville, over the
You were the first one to
Cumberland
see
River.
it.
Yeah. It was fun. Sometimes you wouldn't see anything because you'd see clouds.
Right.
You'd be in the clouds. But it was a beautiful place.
Now, in that building, it had a very unique architectural style to it, and I've had to go up there for meetings a couple of times. But before they built what I used to call the NLT building, the Life and Casualty Tower was
that was the biggest.
It was the biggest, and now it's swallowed up downtown.
That our tower was on top of that.
Yeah.
And in those days,
on
we
top
thought,
of the building.
Yeah, we put up about a 200-foot rod on top of the 30-something story building, and it really got out. I had friends in Knoxville who would listen to it in the mornings.
Yeah.
But things are different nowadays. You don't get that coverage for some reason.
Yeah. Now, once you got out of high school, you came to college.
I did. Well, I played for a little bit, and then I got serious and came here.
Okay.
and I hope I came here for the right reason.
Right.
Leanne was here already.
Okay.
And we had been dating, and that motivated me to decide to get more serious about college.
Gotcha.
So I gave up the job at WLAC and moved to Murfreesboro.
Okay. So you were working at WLAC right out of high school, or in high school.
Right.
Yeah.
And for the first 2 years of what should have been college.
Gotcha.
I majored in water skiing, though.
I understand.
It was more fun.
Yeah, and so I would not have guessed you as a water skier, but you were.
I got really hooked on that.
Wow.
It didn't take too much to say, let's go.
Where did you ski?
Cumberland River.
On the river, not on either of the lakes.
No.
Okay.
Well, one of the lakes wasn't even there.
Okay.
I don't think Percy Priest was, because I remember, at least when I was in high school, driving on roads that I knew would be covered with the lake, and I wanted to get that feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I don't think that lake was there. If it was just beginning. So it had a long way to go.
Yeah. Well, you came to when you were in college, did you work? Did you come work here as a student?
I worked here for a little while. I met Bill Vogel. I did not know Bill Vogel before. What a gracious man he is and was. He was a caring person. He didn't have any openings, but he gave me what airtime was available and let me fill in with other things, too. I was here for a while. WMTS had an opening, and I went there for a while. And then the folks in Woodbury at what was then WBFJ, Wub Fudge, they had an opening, and they let me basically create the format I wanted. And I was there for the remainder, for the majority of my college years.
Okay.
And it was, they just let me have fun. And it was fun.
Yeah. But I'm sure you were hyper local with everything.
Oh, everything we did.
Yeah.
That's the only way radio should be.
Right.
I mean, no matter if it was back then or now, it should be local.
Yeah.
Here's my hero.
How about that? Look at there. How you doing, Judge?
How are you?
Good. Judge Ash is here and brought the boss.
Yeah.
Hey, Don.
So
I heard Bart on the radio.
Yep.
And I want to come by and say that he is one of the heroes for our community.
Absolutely.
I don't know anybody that's made a bigger contribution than Bart and WGNS. And so, Bart,
Don,
this
thank
community
you so
loves
much.
you. It loves Leanne. I just hope you know that. It's really important that you know that.
And we think the world of you.
I know. You are good to me, too.
And congratulations on the honor you got last week.
Well, it means getting old.
Yeah, I understand that.
You don't look like you're getting old, though, Don.
Well, neither do you. But like I said, one of my favorite stories about Bart and WGNS, when Coach Peterson died, our friend, and Mark Pirtle died, our friend, I called Bart And I said, I think y'all interviewed them a lot. And he goes, oh, yeah. And I go, is there some way I could get a copy of that and give that to their family? And he made me copies of Coach Peterson getting interviewed and Mark Pirtle and his family. Their families love that. And where else in America
That's right.
can you get something like that? Wow. And you've done so much more stuff. But through good times in Murfreesboro and bad times in Murfreesboro, WGNS and you have just been kind of the standard of the way people should treat each other. And
it's a wonderful community.
It
Don.
is, yeah. But part of the reason it's a wonderful community is you and Leanne. Wow. So I was riding around, heard you. Love you. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh no, absolutely. We love having a walk-in when it's you. And by the way, you've got a date here before too long, and I'll call you, and you're going to be over here.
Okay, you call me. I appreciate you.
We'll do that.
Go Blue Raiders.
All right,
see
Judge Don Ash dropping in today as Bart Walker is the guest. We're going to take a break. Be back with more here on the Round Table on WGNS.
When it comes to your child's health,
you want care that's close, convenient,
and centered around the needs of your family.
At MMC Pediatrics, we're more than just doctors.
We're partners in your parenting journey.
Here for every growth spurt,
for every boo-boo,
every fever, and every flu.
Our team approach means that your child always sees someone that knows them.
We are MMC Pediatrics.
We are right beside you.
Every step of the way.
What's the location of your emergency? I think Makita OD.
Hundreds of overdose calls like this happen in Rutherford County every year. These aren't just numbers. There are children, parents, and friends. None of us can fix this alone. It takes all of us learning the signs and looking out for one another. And together, we can save lives.
A message from the Rutherford Opioid Board. If you or someone you love needs help, call 1-800-889-9789. That's 1-800-889-9789.
Choosing the right insurance can be overwhelming. That's where Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance comes in. At Rayburn, we're not just about policies, we're about people. Rick Hall will take the time to understand your needs and find the best coverage at the best price. We've been serving our community since 1973. So why not let Rick Hall take the stress out of insurance? Rick Hall at Rayburn Insurance Agency, where you're more than just a policy number. You're our neighbors.
This is Good Neighbor Events with Bart Walker. Brought to you by the law offices of John Day and AmeriCare Pest Control.
This is a paid legal ad.
I help people at the most difficult times in their lives try to enforce their legal rights. Practiced law in Nashville for over 30 years. But we start with the facts. We need to understand what happened. And if the claim appears to have merit, then we're going to say, yes, we can help. I would encourage anybody who has been injured and they believe it's somebody else's fault to reach out to us. We're happy to give answers. Call the law offices of John Day for your free consultation.
Now, Good Neighbor Events. Here's Bart Walker.
Next to Normal opens this weekend at the Center for the Arts in Uptown Murfreesboro. Also this weekend, the Women's Club of Murfreesboro's Summer Garden Party at the beautiful home of Ronnie and Donna Barrett. This year's event raises funds to continue restoration on the historic 170-year-old Basket home. Go to their website, womensclubofmurfreesboro.org, and make arrangements to attend their Summer Garden Party, 5 until 8 this Saturday night at the home of Ronnie and Donna Barrett. The Red Cross is still in crisis mode for a shortage of blood. Some surgeries are having to be postponed because of a lack of blood. Right now, phone 800-RED-CROSS and make an appointment to give the gift of life at a time that fits your schedule. The Rutherford County Public Library System is offering free computer classes. Learn more about those computer classes. Contact their Technology Engagement Center. It's on Minerva Drive in Murfreesboro. Those are WGNS Good Neighbor Events.
Rutherford weather.
Slight chance for storms today, otherwise sunshine mixed with clouds at times. High temperatures reach up to 93. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki on News Radio WGNS. Right now, it's 75 degrees.
WGNS is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric. If you've recently changed your phone number or email, make sure you update your details at MTE.com. It's the best way for MTE to reach you quickly with important outage updates.
This is the Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable here on WGNS. Chip Walters along with Bart Walker of WGNS. He is our guest today. And Bart, after your experience in Woodbury, and I don't want to get myself bogged down here, but you had the WAMB years,
right?
Talk a little bit about that and how a big band format, how that got about in Nashville.
Well, I tell you,
it had a loyal following.
I was, if we go back to the very beginning of my radio days.
Yeah.
After my stint of playing radio at home, I had looked and looked and looked and looked for a job in real radio. Of course, I was in the 8th grade.
Right.
And I don't think anybody was that excited about getting an 8th grader. But I didn't think about that as being a reason to slow down, so I went everywhere, and they looked and laughed and stuff like that. One guy said, and I think he saw in me himself at an earlier age, he said, "We got Saturday nights, we play recordings and stuff like that. You could do that if you want." Bill Berry was his name, and that was WFMB. And he gave me my first job. And that's how I got to know him. You know, he got his first job where? WGNS.
Really?
In the 40s.
Wow.
And so he remembered that too. And all through college and everything, Bill was trying to get a license for what he did. He said, "Would you like to get back in radio?" Well, I'd been out of radio for a while. Well, after our college, I wanted to be sure I liked radio as much as I did. So I graduated and went to the state of Tennessee, the Department of Education, believe it or not, with public relations, which is a close cousin to radio.
Correct.
That lasted about a year because it was nice. It was good people, but it wasn't radio. So I thought, well, let me try a little different approach and be sure it really is radio that I want. So I got in with the Nashville ad agency and was with them for 3 years.
Okay.
After that period of time, Bill Berry called and said, "We're about to go on the air. Would you like to be with WAMB?" And I didn't think twice. I was there. And that was the greatest experience I ever had, meeting people like Buzz Benson, Snooky Lanson, Bob Stitch, those guys, Ken Bramming. I used to watch Ken Bramming on TV when I was a kid. Dr. Lucifer.
It was Channel 8 then. It became Channel 2.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, he was on the Saturday night late night movie
Theater.
Shock Theater, which he and Sir Cecil Creep were competitors. On Sir Cecil Creep on Creature Feature on Channel 4. So it was So, but Ken Bramming, what a voice!
Oh, and what a person! All of those people were great people. I learned so much from Buzz Benson. I learned Snooky Lanson was about as nice of a guy as you could get to know.
Yeah,
and it was a phenomenal opportunity to grow. I've been blessed with that throughout my life. Been able to meet people, and they've shared their experiences. They gave me an opportunity.
How long were you with WAMB?
Oh, until I bought this station.
Right.
When they came on the air in 71 until 84.
Okay, so 13 years.
Yeah.
And
loved it.
Yeah.
And I hated to leave, but
when this opportunity came up, if I remember correctly, in 1984. WGNS was in receivership.
They were.
Which was part of, I guess, a bankruptcy proceeding or
not just any bankruptcy proceeding.
Yeah, okay.
This was one of those Ray Blanton, Jake Butcher
bankruptcies.
And I don't recall the name of the person, probably shouldn't recall the name of the person, but he had gotten one of those unique loans for several $1 million. And when I came up here first to look at the station to see if I really wanted to bid on the bankruptcy, I started noticing, hey, everything's the same as it was when I was here in 65.
Mm-hmm.
We had put in a new control board, a yard board, and they were all excited about that. It was still here, still used.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, well, he didn't use the money for here. He must have enjoyed it himself. And so that's why it came up for...
I didn't know the details of why it had gone into receivership, but throughout whatever that process was, you ended up with the radio station.
Right, and it was through a strange back door. This has happened all through my life. I get into things...
Yeah, kind of tell about how did that happen? Or what
a friend of mine and I were looking at this together. He was in radio,
mm-hmm.
and we both had agreed to, neither one of us had any money. We just thought we wanted to do this.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, let's try it. And we did. And the day before we were to bid, they had a cutoff. The day before that, he called me and said, let's meet for lunch, and I did. And he said, I've decided not to do it. I'm going with somebody else, and we're going to bid on it.
Oh, wow.
And I won't give you any specific names.
Right.
But he said, I just don't think it's the right way for me to do it. So the other person I knew if we didn't bid, it didn't matter, because you're not in the running for it. Didn't matter if you got it or you didn't. Don't worry about the money. If you don't get it, it doesn't matter. So I went ahead and bid.
On your own?
On my own.
Okay.
And so, well, he got the bid. Beat me several $100,000. And I thought, wow. And it turned out we were the only two who bid. I thought everybody thought it was going to be a huge number. Excuse me. And after a while, the bank called me, and they said, "Are you still interested?" And I said, "Well, sure." And I said, "Well, why?" He said, "We've never heard from the other party."
You were kidding?
No.
Huh.
So.
How long a period of time?
Several months.
Really?
Yeah. And then I knew, well, I better get some money.
Okay.
What can I do? So after I had that meeting with the bank, I was coming back home, and I thought, well, I better sure up some more sponsors at WAMB where I was. So I called a sponsor, and the guy on the phone on my way back said, why don't we get together? I've been thinking about, I'd like to buy a radio station. Would you like to be a part of that?
On that exact day?
That exact day, within hours after I left there. I'd say, God used to hit me on the head with a 2x4. I didn't get the message, but wham, I'd get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's happened all through life.
That is amazing. And so that all worked out.
It did.
And when you guys walked in to a radio station that had an air staff, a news staff, and what were your ideas at the time of what you wanted to do with it? Because again, we talked earlier that when you kind of had your opportunity to set up a radio station in Woodbury, that you obviously had somewhat of a plan in mind of what you wanted to do.
Well, the Woodbury station was a good example.
Right.
They were totally Woodbury. we tried to make the music and everything sound professional. Excuse me. There is a cough button somewhere around here. I've never been on this side of the table. I've usually turned off the lights.
That's right.
But yeah, I wanted to be totally local, focus on news, focus on the community, and let everything else bring it together.
Right.
And that's what we did.
Yeah. Yeah, and you mean you focused on local news has always been something big. You did make the decision to go in the news talk route, and
that was after several years.
And that
was totally foreign to me. I'd never done anything like that, and it was a little scary.
Yeah.
And then one day I realized it's no different from music. You find music that a community likes, the majority like, and it hit me. You find topics for talk radio that a community likes. This community has two favorites. Talk favorites would be sports and history.
Yeah.
And those were the two areas that we focused and still focus a lot.
Right. Yeah, exactly. And it was you put your stamp on it pretty quickly, but that was what you had to, and you were on the air as well, and I think about every successful local community radio station that where I grew up. The things that were on the air were on the air, whether it's Murfreesboro, Columbia, Clarksville, Camden, doesn't
Everybody
matter.
has their own news.
The thing you're going to have local news. You're going to have a swap and shop. You're going to have make sure the obituaries are read, and you're going to make sure that you cover the local teams.
Absolutely.
And that's kind of the core of how you in being a partner within the community.
Well, you have to be a partner.
Yeah.
And you have to cover their needs. If something big breaks, you have to be there.
Yeah.
And cover it live. And that's what we always have tried to do.
Absolutely. And when what was your favorite part about, because everybody that's worked here has kind of pitched in on local news, and the way that you gather that has changed over the years.
It has gotten much better, much easier. Technology has made it so simple. I can remember carrying around, you and I spoke before the broadcast about something called a Marty, which was a
remote broadcast unit. Yeah.
And you had to have worked out to be in that business.
That's right. It was a brick. It was about the size of a concrete block and weighed almost the same.
And then they came out with the smaller units. I thought that we had arrived with this unit that you could carry in your hand that had a battery, Comrex, early Comrex. And we carried it down to Uncle Dave Macon Days in Cannonsburg, walked around, interviewed people, sounded like we were at the studio.
Oh, yeah.
And that's phenomenal. Now you can use your phones connected in the same way.
Yep, exactly. And, because I remember the first sports broadcast I ever did was 1977. I was at Franklin County High School, of all places, for a basketball game, and there was a telephone line hanging out of the ceiling, and got that thing on the air. And then to think about now that and it sounded like you were a million miles away.
Yeah.
And now the technology that we have, for instance, I think about, we've had football bowl games in the Bahamas and in Hawaii.
Oh yeah, I remember those.
And how they and how we sounded like we were in the studio. And it's the technology has come a long way. And whether it was news gathering, sports, or community events, WGNS has been there, and that was from day one, I mean, because when you took over, I was a student and I was working here
and you
at
did
the
great.
time. Well, thank
I
you.
remember back to, you took the caravan to Cookeville.
It's funny. We were talking about that the other day. That's been 42 years ago. It was 1984.
Really?
Yeah. And
wow.
It was, and Larry Counts, Jim Simpson, and myself kind of worked on that and ended up with about 300 cars, went to Cookeville for a football game against Tennessee Tech, and had just had a big time. We'd come up with some, giveaways, things like that, but that was also the year that Oakland High School won their first football championship. So, a lot of things have happened over time, and we talked about big events, and we're going to take a break and talk about some of those community events and Bart's remembrances of those, and talking about his career in radio and his career here at WGNS. And we're here on the Roundtable and back with more in just a minute.
When it comes to your child's health,
you want care that's close, convenient,
and centered around the needs of your family.
At MMC Pediatrics, we're more than just doctors.
We're partners in your parenting journey.
Here for every growth spurt,
for every boo-boo,
every fever, and every flu.
Our team approach means that your child always sees someone that knows them.
We are MMC Pediatrics.
We are right beside you.
Every step of the way.
When the weather turns bad, minutes, even seconds matter.
This is an early heads up for southern Rutherford County.
Rutherford Weather brings you live radar and expert meteorologist insight, giving you an early heads up when storms threaten.
A lot of areas are going to see some impacts from this storm.
From analysis to live camera views, we keep you informed before, during, and after the storm.
I think the vast majority of the hail with this is going to be quarter to perhaps golf ball size.
Rutherford Weather. Stay ahead of the storm.
Well, yeah, I'll be right there.
It takes all of us to power a community, both in plain sight and behind the scenes. Middle Tennessee Electric, bringing good energy.
What's the location of your emergency? I think my kid OD'd.
Hundreds of overdose calls like this happen in Rutherford County every year. These aren't just numbers. There are children, parents, and friends. None of us can fix this alone. It takes all of us learning the signs and looking out for one another. And together, we can save lives.
A message from the Rutherford Opioid Board. If you or someone you love needs help, call 1-800-889-9789. That's 1-800-889-9789.
The Roundtable from News Radio WGNS on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna. Listen and watch at WGNSradio.com.
Welcome back into the Roundtable. Bart Walker of WGNS is our guest today on the Roundtable as we turn the tables on the boss. And
and I have a glass of water now.
You do, yeah. I
should have known that.
Well, the preparation, right? We were talking about, being a partner with the community. It's easy to do things during the good times, but I think about the coverage that happened during the Good Friday tornado. Several tornadoes, but Good Friday in particular jumps out because of the significance of the date and all of that. But when you think about those kind of events and don't worry about the commercials, that kind of thing.
It'll all work out.
It'll all work out. Talk about the importance and the pride that you had of being able to do that and do it well.
I know our first tornado coverage, and you never plan for these things, they happen. The first one was when it was on, I guess it was on a Friday, and it was late in the afternoon. This wouldn't have been Good Friday. No, this was in December.
Okay, right.
And it caught the town by surprise. It came down and hit South Church Street.
Mm-hmm.
And the lights went out. Everything went out, except God was with us. The power at the radio station didn't go out. So we were on the air, and the phone lines were still working. We were getting phone calls from people who were calling in to let their relatives know we're okay. There's no electricity here.
But their phones happened to work.
Their phones were working. God was with everybody.
Or either cell phones or landlines. Something was working.
I'm not even sure we had good cell phones.
Where they could get a call out.
Got it. And we heard from those people. It was refreshing and encouraging for families to hear this. The police were using it because their system was down. They didn't have any traffic signals. They had. Can you imagine dark in December? You know how it gets dark early. You couldn't see anything, and they were WGNS was able to get messages out to them as well. We had other situations like that. Every time a tornado hit, it was like that. It tore down the infrastructure. If you had cell phones as years progressed, the cell towers went down. We were fortunate that our tower was always up, except once.
Mm-hmm.
Except once.
Yeah.
One morning, and I'll remember this as clear as it happened yesterday. I was listening to the radio station on Sunday morning, Easter Sunday, April 2001, and the show stopped. And I thought, what's wrong? 7:31, 7:32. So I called the guy at the station. It was a new guy. And I said, look outside and see if the tower light's blinking. I was trying to determine if we had electricity, whether to contact Murfreesboro Electric or what.
Right.
And he looked out and he said, it's blinking. And I said, okay. He said, it's blinking white. And I said, no, ours is red. I don't see a red one. And I knew I needed to come down there. And I did, and by the time I got to Jackson Heights, I could see there wasn't the tower that I usually see coming in. And I called Bill Barry, the guy who gave me my first job.
Right.
He said, I'm on my way. Easter Sunday, he's always at church, but I'm on my way. He was there within 30 minutes after I got there, and gave me encouragement that I needed. I mean, a radio station with no tower, you're up the creek.
Mm-hmm.
Gary Brown, our engineer at the time, we strung wire thanks to Murfreesboro Electric between power poles. We were back on the air within a few hours. Not great, but we were on the air, and you could hear us in Murfreesboro.
Right.
And the next 3 months, this community got behind us in such a way, it touches my heart. We were back on the air full power within 3 months and went through...
what caused the... was it...
It was a... And I don't remember the exact term, but it's... it's not a tornado, but it's...
A wind
downdraft.
shear?
They were going in opposite directions.
Okay.
The wind was, and it clipped the tower at the bottom. And they said that's as bad as a tornado, sometimes worse. Well, it took us down.
Wow.
And boy.
It took 3 months to rebuild, which when you think about it, that's pretty fast. And
well, a lot of things happened in the right time at the right place. But that seems to happen. I mean, God had his hand in all of it. We went to the National Association of Broadcasters meeting, which was the next week.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what they have there? They have every manufacturer.
Correct.
That's anybody who's there representing, trying to sell you
trade show,
something.
yeah.
Trade show. I had never bought a tower. I'd never thought about a tower. But there was everybody there. And I was able to ask every tower manufacturer why is yours better? Explain to me why I should go with you. What kind of price can you give me? I had to afford it too. And came up with one company called Pi Rod, which had a tower that was phenomenal. We put it in. It's still there, stronger than ever. And thanks to Joe B. Jackson, our mayor, he got us together, moved us forward. And they had to have this all through a public hearing for the Board of Zoning Appeals. The room was packed with citizens, and I didn't know if they were for us or against us, and it was scary. They were all for us except one person spoke out against us. And he said, the only reason I'm doing this is because I've tried to get things approved before and couldn't get it done, and I think somebody should be against something. And he spoke against it, and everybody else was for it. It was such a strong feeling of the community built this back. I mean, it's the community that did it. It's the community that, if it wasn't for this community, we wouldn't be here this morning.
Oh, that's absolutely. And, and what's amazing is not only were you back on the air on the AM, on AM 1450, but since then, now you've got signals on the FM band.
Yeah.
The repeaters, 100.5 and 101.9.
And that's a Murfreesboro story you wouldn't believe.
Yeah, well, we've got a few minutes. Let's hear it.
Okay. There was this lady who was asked to be on the Federal Communications Commission. In my whole lifetime in Tennessee, and that's my whole life, I've never known an FCC commissioner being from Tennessee. Not only was she from Tennessee, she grew up in Murfreesboro, got her public education in Murfreesboro. And I remember asking her to be on the action line one morning before she was appointed, so we could find out what is it like to be on the Federal Communications Commission, one of the most powerful positions in the nation, and having your education from public schools in Murfreesboro. She accepted, she came on, and was such a wonderful person, Deborah Tate. Humble, a leader who cared. She's so humble, and she was the chairman of the Power Board, I believe is the term, for Tennessee prior to this position. And I thought, I wonder if I can get through to her and ask her to be on the radio. So I called the number of the Power Board, and you know what the person said? Hi, this is Debbie. Can I help you? It's like calling the mayor of Nashville. Hi, can I help you?
Yeah.
You don't find that.
Right.
That's the kind of person she walked in that morning, and we were the only two here, so she was waiting outside for me to finish swap and shop the obituaries. She came back with tears in her eyes. It reminds me of when I was growing up in Murfreesboro, she said. And she has a heart. And we talked to her after the broadcast of some of the issues that were facing broadcasters. And she was going into a position that would help that. She said, I can do something about that. Within 6 months, it was up for rule making. We got a special ability for them to test. They had to be sure that this would work, the translators. And we got special authority to do that. We were the first station on in the United States with this, thanks to Debbie Taylor Tate.
Wow.
A Central High School grad.
Wow, that's pretty good. And since then, obviously, Scott, your son, has been a big part of this. Brian Barrett.
Brian is just such a wonderful. I came across Brian in 4-H, not radio, 4-H. we were over at, my daughter was in 4-H and was at some kind of a show, and Brian was emceeing it. After the show, I went up to him and I said, have you ever thought about getting into radio? And I'm not sure he had. And I said, well, you ought to think about it. Here's my card. Call me if you're interested. He did. Brian has been here from then. He took a hiatus for a few years to go learn more from a company, Clear Channel, biggest in the nation. And he learned a lot. And he's back, and he's been sharing it 30 plus years. We have been blessed with people like Brian.
Yeah, and here recently named Station of the Year by the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, 11 awards from TAB over the last 2 years, and you know, between the recognition by TAB and the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame, it's you know, it's been a great run, and now you're getting to slow down a little bit and enjoy what you built and enjoy the work that others are doing.
But the beauty of radio, I still get to be on not only this, but I'm on with Good Neighbor events, which is a thrill. I mean, it's as much fun as it was in the beginning.
Yeah, when you now, instead of having to come up here and record it, and
I do it at home.
You can sit down at your laptop and you have a little home studio, which a lot of folks have now, and nobody ever knows the difference.
No, they don't. But it's still the joy of radio. It's something magic about it. You obviously have the disease too.
Right. Oh, exactly. But when you think about where, you know, now it started out, as we mentioned, on AM 1450, and then you added the translators. I don't know how many years ago that was, 15, 20, something like that.
Yeah, at least. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, websites came along, and you know, I would guess that WGNSradio.com is probably the most looked at local news website of any in Rutherford County, and now the advent of Big GTV on YouTube, and what Brian has done with Rutherford WX, Rutherford Weather, it is you know, from the radio bug, it's now the multimedia bug.
Who would have thought?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, as long as you stay current and have as your goal, serve the community in which you're located. Serve that community. Really serve it.
Yeah.
And use every method you can to serve it. You'll be here.
When Mr. Elrod put the radio station on the air, it was the Good Neighbor station.
It still is.
And that moniker went away for a little while, but when you purchased the station and came back with it, that not only is in the call letters, it's in the mission.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That is our mission. If you treat people like your neighbor, everything else will take care of itself.
Absolutely. Well, Bart, I appreciate you relenting to be the guest instead of the questioner, and it's been a lot of fun. I learned some things today that I didn't know, and I've known you for